Okay, so officially we started recording. So I'm going to go over what conditional formatting is for the sake of people that will not be present in today's class. So conditional formatting allows you to apply formattings such as colors, icons, or data bars to cells based on the value they contain. This helps to highlight specific data, identify trends, or visualize comparisons in an Excel workbook. Now, this isn't just about Excel. They also use conditional formatting in Power BI as well. And this is very, very important when it comes to data analysis. I'm going to show you some examples where I've used conditional formatting, both in Excel and in Power BI. Okay, so I'm seeing two other hands up. So Christabel, Derif Haka, your hand is up. And you.
So I wanted to say that I've sent the link already to the platform, the link that contains the slides. It's already on the
Oh, okay,
platform.
okay, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Beverly,
No, that it was actually received. I actually wanted to say the link was sent a while ago. So yeah.
oh, okay, okay. So thank you very much. So now I'm going to show you some examples of conditional formatting that I've used before. Then we'll go about um, creating some for ourselves. So let me come here. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I have some examples here we can use. Okay. Okay. I'm going to use this as an example, right? So I use a conditional formatting here. There's one conditional formatting here called the color grade. There's another conditional formatting here called the data bar. So what does this do? This is a matrix, right? This is a ticket matrix that highlights the distribution of days of the week and time we get the most tickets. So the higher the ticket number, the more pronounced or the darker the color shade of the green is. For example, if you see here, you can see 27, you can see 26, you can see 26. And if you see something like a 4 or a 3, it's tilting towards the lighter color. So by applying conditional formatting, it helps to enhance our our analysis in the sense that if I were to ask you, okay, fine, which day of the week and what time of that day do we usually get the most tickets? Just by looking at this matrix, because of the conditional formatting, I can automatically pinpoint that here on Monday by 3 p.m., this is when we have the most tickets. And looking at it generally, it seems by 3 o'clock across most of the days, we usually have the most tickets, tickets here. So can you see that we're able to identify the trend? We're able to identify a pattern here. We realize, okay, fine, from Monday through Saturdays, or Monday through Fridays, which are the work days, this is the hot spots. This is the time of the day that the most complaint tickets come into the company. And we were able to do this because of conditional formatting. Do you have any questions before we start creating ours? But you guys understand the concept of the conditional formatting? Okay, Doris.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. So my question
Good
goes
evening.
like this. In this conditional formatting, like where I'm seeing the color that is darker, is it all I say, is it a command that you impute that from 24 and above, if you have a darker color or something like that? Like I want to understand how we come about this darker color and lighter shade of color.
Okay, we're about creating some conditional formattings now. But I just wanted to be sure you guys understand the concept and why we use it. That's what I want to get first before we move on to other things. You can see here too. I use it here as well. It's something I use every day. It's something you use every day, right? You can see. Okay, which if I ask you which ticket and which country, what ticket topic and which country is the most occurrent? Because of the conditional formatting, I can easily pinpoint it that here, which is Italy. Product setup has the most complaints. So it helps you to identify trends, helps you to identify patterns in a data set, right? That's what it does. So now let's start playing with it in Excel. This is Power BI, but it is also applicable in Excel. You can see that here. You can see it here. I use it a lot. There are different types, but let's play with them. So now, let's come back to this, right? This is our data set. We are still working as an HR analyst for the company, right? So they said, okay, fine. Again, we want to highlight people that are now instead of sorting or filtering, we just want to see the pattern, right, of people that are performing best and performing the least in the job, right? We're not sorting, we're not filtering, but we want it to change in the sense that if the person is like a 7, 8, 9, 10, it should be green. If it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, it should be like red. Then 5, it should be like yellow, middle. So what do? I can highlight this, right? I'll highlight this. I'll come to home. I'll come to conditional formatting, right? Got it up here. Click on it. I'll go to the color scale and I will do this. I'll select this one, the first one there. And once I click OK, can you see? Can you guys see it? Are we together? Ornella, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I do. Like, how did you put
Yeah.
on those colors? Can you repeat it?
All
We
right.
didn't see it. Some of us, yeah.
All right. How about you, Blessing? What question or concern or contribution do you have?
Okay, so after the conditional formatting, you should go to color scale. So I want to know, how
Yes.
did you come about the colors? Like, are we putting any command or it's the system that just gives the color? Don't know.
It's preset. It's preset, right? It's preset. And I'll walk you through different scenarios to use different color schemes or different conditional formattings, right? We're about to
All
go
right,
deep
sir.
into it right now. Yeah.
All right, sir.
Chiamaka, do you have a question
No,
before
sorry.
we?
She has already asked my question. Thank you.
All right. All right. I'm going to undo. I'm going to undo, which is Control Z, to take this out. Now, again, whatever values you want to work with, always highlight them. So in this case, I want to work with this set of values. I'm going to highlight it, right? I'll still go to home. I will go to conditional formatting, right? I'll go to color scale. Now you can see there are 12 color scales here. 12 color scales. The first one is the higher the number, the greener it is. If it's around the midpoint, it's yellow, which means neutral. And if it's low, it's red, right? The second one is the reverse. So the lower the number, green, the higher the number, red. Now, if I were to ask you guys, in which situation would you want to use, what does green stand for, by the way, generally? What does green stand for? The color green. What does it entail? If you see green somewhere, what does that mean? Because understanding colors and their meanings is very important when you're working with things like conditional formatting and all of that, right? Beverly,
For a good sign.
the good side, right? It means good. So when you see green, is I always attributed to good, something good, right? Cool. How about red? How about red?
Danger.
Danger, bad things, and all of that, right?
Yes,
Then
poor
finally,
performance.
yellow. Yellow,
Neutral.
Medium.
Neutral.
neutral. All right. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to lower everybody's hands. I want to ask a question, and I will need you guys to answer. Let me test your analytical mindset. So now, when do I use this first color scale, right, to identify trends? When do I use this first one? In the sense that the higher the number, the greener it becomes, and if it's low, it's red. So, what scenario do you think I would use this to highlight the trends and patterns? Victoria, Adeoye, Victoria, Victoria. Okay, Priscilla, Ibiranke, you want to answer? The floor is yours. Okay,
Okay.
somebody has already, yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we
Okay.
can. Yeah, we can.
I think the you use is when you want to know the people that are doing poorly, like from the smallest to the highest. So the highest is, which is the greenest one, has has a better job performance, while the lowest is the red one. So I think that scenario when you are going from like smallest to highest, I think.
All right, you're correct. When the bigger the number signifies a good thing, then you use you don't just use color for the sake of colors. Your colors will have or should tell a story, right? Your colors should tell a story. So you should be very careful the way you use your conditional formatting and the type of conditional formatting we use. So now let me switch it. Now let me use this. Let me see if you guys can grab. So what situation would I use this? That's like you can paint a business. It doesn't have to be here. Like generally, what scenario do you think I should highlight the color? Like the higher the value, the redder it becomes, if that's a word. So now the high values are red and the low values are gray. So what scenario do you think this kind of formatting would work perfectly? Okay. Um. Again. Okay, Priscilla, you've answered the first one, so let's give someone else a chance. So, Tara, and the hand is down. Okay, I'm going to the next person. Doreen.
No, I'm answering. Sorry. Good evening.
Okay, okay,
That's
good evening.
when you're going from the highest to the lowest. Rather,
Yeah.
like the worst person is the highest, then you're going down. I think in descending order, that's when you use the red for the highest person.
Okay, so I would love for you like to paint a scenario, right? What scenario would you paint
Okay,
that
okay. The
yeah
scenario is
would
if on
require
a scale
this
of
kind
1
of
to
formatting?
10, can you hear
Yes,
me? On a scale of
yes.
1 to 10, 10 is the lowest, if that makes any sense.
No, 10 is the highest, right? So I want you to paint a business scenario where the higher the number, the worse it is. Do you understand?
Okay,
Because these things are
okay,
telling a story. Forget this job performance
okay.
column. Or what scenario do you think this kind of conditional formatting will run?
When I'll say the person earning the highest doesn't do well or is not performing properly, the person is performing poorly.
Okay, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Thank you very much. All right. Let's hear from Beatrice. Beatrice, do you have anything to add
Yeah,
to
good
that?
evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. Hope you
Yeah,
can
good
hear me.
evening. Yeah, we can.
All right. The business scenario that we can use that for is when there is a deficit in, or should I say, a defect. We have a product defect. For example, if we have a production company factory that maybe I'm working there, and then we discover that we've been having defects in our supply, what we ordered for, the product we ordered for, we had more defects in them. Most of them are bad. So we want to show or let the management know that while we're going through taking a stock of products being supplied by uh, uh, our suppliers, we discovered that we had plenty of bad products. So if we want to paint that scenario, we will now use that red to show when it is increasing, which means when the defect is many, the higher the defect, the redder the conditional formatting will go. Thank you, sir.
All right. So thank you very much. So in a scenario where if there's an increase, if the increase signifies a bad thing, right? That's when you can use that kind of formatting. Now let's look at the third one. Remember, you should always remember that these colors, whenever you're working with data analysis, you don't use colors as a UI UX. You're not a designer, you're a data analyst. Every single element of what you show people must be interpreted to mean something. So every decision you see us take as data analysts, they are calculated to enhance our analysis, right? We don't use colors. Now, we have here, right? We have total revenue here. We have total revenue um, lost, right? So if I were to do something like this, if I were to put a conditional format in here to highlight, because looking at this now is going to take some seconds before you can pinpoint which month which month is the highest, right? Okay, fine. Look, we know is this, but imagine there are like 20 of them. It's very difficult to pinpoint, or if the numbers are large, right? So what do we do in situations like I want to highlight the total revenue, right? So I want to check for the trend from January to December. Is that increase or decrease in the trends? And how do I highlight that trend? Is conditional formatting. In this case, right, since all revenues generated is good, right? No matter how small the revenue is, it's not a bad thing. This is what I will use. I will come here, I will come to conditional formatting, I'll come to color, I'll come to color scales. You see this, right? This one here, the first column, third row, it has just green and white, right? Once I select it, we're going to have something like this. Can you see? So now we've seen the months with the highest revenue, right? But there's nothing here that signifies a loss. So oh, please mute your mic, please, please, please. So we can see here that we've identified the trend and we're able to pinpoint the months with the highest revenues. But you can see there's no yellow, there's no red. Everything is green and is slowly fading to white. Why? Because there's no negative impact on this revenue stream from January through December. Questions? So Sarah, your hand is up. You have a question.
Yes, so we use this pattern, whenever all the revenue analysis are good, or when exactly do we use this pattern?
Like in this case now, like I told you, there is that revenue stream there is no loss, right? So no matter how small the revenue is, it's still a good thing, right? So you wouldn't be signifying this with red and yellow and all of that, right? You can do that, right? But this is a better representation of what is going on. Do you understand? So we are seeing that the higher the value, the thicker the green, the lower the value, the lighter the green. But everything is green because everything here is money coming to the company. Are you seeing how the conditional formatting is telling a story? The person that asked the question. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So let me see if I can hear from. Okay, patience. Let me take two other questions and we'll move on because time is of the essence. I need to finish
Okay.
this and we need to go into. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
You're talking about that we're using color green because there is no loss. The revenue, all the revenue
Yeah.
is good.
Yes.
How do you
Yes.
know? I just
How
want
do
to
I know?
understand. Yes.
Look at the values now. Look at the values here. It's
Yes.
there in front of us, right? There's no negative sign. If you look to the right, the second column beside it, you can see total revenue lost, right? And I'm about to condition that one too, as well. Do you get? So there is no revenue loss because if you look here, there is no negative value there. Everything is positive.
Okay.
Right. So now, I don't. This person that your hand has been over, I've been avoiding that hand because I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know how to pronounce that thing I'm seeing there. The XHILYN. You have a question. The person hand, okay. I'm guessing the person's hand is down. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes, we can.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So now you can see now for this in this case where we want okay, now we found out that January is the highest. January is the highest rep. We make the most money in January, then February, then March, then it dropped, then it peaked again in July, it dropped, and it peaked again in October. We're able to visualize this trend through the conditional formatting. Now, if I want to play around with the revenue lost, instead of green, what do I use here, class? What color do I use to represent this?
Red.
Red.
If I come here and I come to the conditional formatting and I look at this color scale, you also see the one. Can you see? So remember, each color there are only 4 color schemes here. The first one, the opposites, right? This is ascending, this is descending. This color, I don't know when somebody will want to use this. Okay, this will work as well. Green, white, and red. Ascending, descending. We'll have this blue. This one, I don't think I've ever used this because it doesn't tell the story the way I want it to. So there are 4 color schemes here, but there are 8, but there are 4 in the sense that each one is the opposite of the first one beside it. So what do? I'll come here, right? I'll come to this. I'll say, okay, fine. And I'll click on this. So can you see? So looking at this, with conditioned this information here to we are now able to identify the trend. So we can see that, okay, fine. That means the trends are almost identical, right? So the more money we make, the more money we lose. Can you see? We're able to identify this trend by applying conditional formatting, which would have been kind of difficult to decipher if we're just looking at it with our eyes. And you see, it's one-to-one. I know if I perform a correlation analysis between revenue generated and revenue lost, it should be pointing like maybe 0.8 or 0.9 correlation coefficient. I'm sure. But there's no time for that. So this is how you use conditional formatting, one of the many ways. So let me come back to the sheet you guys have access to so that we can play around with some of them there. So yes, Lawal, you have a question.
Was just you're trying to say when you're talking about the color scale, you're saying one was ascending, descending. I didn't get that part, but it seems you left there. Can you just please take that place again? It seems that was like the summary. So sorry.
When I mean
when you're talking about the color scale, like
no, I get you.
Okay.
I get you.
Go ahead.
When I mean one is ascending, one is descending, in the sense that this color scale were applied here, right? the one we applied is the highest number should be red, the lowest number should be green. If I go to the one directly beside it that looks like it, and I change it, I using that now the highest number is green, the lowest number is red. So that was what I mean by ascending, descending.
Okay.
So it just flips, like it's the opposite of the one close to it. So if you want to do something with this, but you're looking for the opposite effect, just use the one that looks exactly like this, but it's opposite. If you look at the color scales here, you can see them, right? How they're structured. You can see how they're structured. So you can play around with them and you will understand better. Are we together? Oh,
Sir.
yeah. I will refer. I did that.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I would like to ask about still the color scale, the last example you used that had to do with revenue.
Yeah.
If so, it's invariably we're more like using just a monocolor, a single color, but the shade was just reducing. What if we have a larger set and we are not able to quickly pick that trend? Say we
You
have
will.
like 1,000. What if we have a very large set, a very large data set, and we have maybe like 1,000 rows, and maybe in between we have like something fluctuating, not just that is decreasing or something, and we can't easily pick what we have in that data set? How do we decide on the color scale to use? I don't know if you got my
Good,
question.
good question, right? As a data analyst, you can. I don't think you have the as a human being. I don't think you have the brain power to decipher trends and patterns over 1,000 rows. That's why you're there as a data analyst, right? Where we are there so that you can, when you see situations like that, you start aggregating, right? You start aggregating to look for trends and patterns. That's literally the analysis you're doing, right? In most cases, this conditional formatting is used when you're analyzing the data, not when you're looking at it. You get. So when you're done with your aggregations, you're done with your grouping, you can now use this conditional formatting to identify trends and patterns, right? Spamming across 1,000 rows. No, I don't think anybody can identify trends unless you start sorting. That's where sorting comes in. You sort, maybe you can sample in different portions of your data using filters to gain a better understanding. But outright, you can't get what's going on because of the sheer volume of data, right? So now, because of time, we're going to paint, we'll start playing with this conditional formatting a little bit more interesting so that you guys can understand. Now, not also do we have color scales. There's also something called, please, everybody should mute their mic, please. And nobody's allowed to speak without this thing, their hands being up to maintain orderliness, please. Thank you very much. So now, we've seen how color scales work, right? The data bars, they do similar things, but the difference is that the data bars, they put in tiny bars in the columns to identify or ascertain the size of the information in there. What do I mean by that? If I come to data bars and I click on this, what can you notice here? Anyone? Okay. Edidian.
Okay, sir. The higher the number, the bars is filled up. The higher the number, the lesser the number, and the bars goes in.
Very, very, very simple. That's it's literally what the data bars does, right? That's it. They are just different colors, right? No matter what no matter what you choose, can you see? It's the same thing, just different colors and textures, right? That's what it does. Then finally, we have the icon sets. Again, it's just a point in the direction, right? So the higher values will be going up. The normal values will be like, you can still see the same trend of the color scale, right? In the sense that up green, middle numbers yellow, and the lower numbers are facing down. So that's how they work. But this isn't where I want to focus on. Let's play around with some rules. Let's play around with some rules that you can use to condition a column or a group of data. So I'm going to clear this. I'm going to clear this, right? You go to home. If you want to clear out your conditional formatting, you go to your conditional formatting, you come to clear rules, and you click on clear rules for either the selected items or from the entire sheet. So I'm going to click from entire sheet, right? So we've cleared out everything. Now, let's use the salary column in this case. If I come here and I go to conditional formatting, you can see some rules here, right? We have the highlight cell rules, we have the top bottom rules. So I'll play with some of them. You guys should pay attention. Your assignment is dropping tomorrow morning. The assignment is dropping tomorrow morning, and you have from morning to Friday to submit. So you guys should pay attention. Go back and catch up because the assignment will cover from the first class till today. Now, what are rules in Excel? Rules are basically functions, right, embedded in Excel. So now let's say the company is bankrupt because of people like where's that our corporates where they collect salary when they work. People like Elizabeth, right? That's collecting $46,000 a year and is pulling out a 1/10, or people like Edith Young that's collecting $52,000 a year and is giving us a 2/10. The company is losing money. The company is going bankrupt, right? So we say, okay, fine. We want to set a salary cap, right? We want to set a salary cap. We don't want to pay anybody over $50,000. We don't want to pay anybody over $50,000. If you're $50,000, you want to highlight them, want to slash their salaries to $50,000. So how do I do that? I will highlight the salary columns. I will come to conditional formatting. I will go to highlight cell rules greater than, and I will impute the value. So in this case, I will go 50,000. Right? And I'll click OK. Can you see? Automatically, I've highlighted people that are earning 50K and above. You can see them. So people like Adobe, Bob, John, Diana, Alice, Edith Young, and Charlie, automatic slashing of salary. Do you guys see how that works? And does anybody have any questions or confusion regarding that? Okay. So Edwin, Eki, your hand has been up. Do you have a question? Okay. O Ojatunwashe, blessing. You have a question?
Yes, sir, I do, sir. Sir, in
Yeah.
this let me say our sample sheet, instead of using conditional formatting, I thought I'm mixing it up with sorting. I don't know. Can we sort, or we just have to apply this since we are dealing with the company's data?
Now, like I told you guys, when it comes to conditional formatting, it's used to identify trends and patterns. And when do you identify trends and patterns? In the analysis phase of your project. Now, I'm using this as an example, but in most cases, when you're using Excel, you tend to use this in your analysis phase, which is something like this, right? Which is something like this. This is when you tend to use this conditional formatting. Do you get? So I'm just using that as an example. You can see here, right? I used it here as well. So this is when you use it, when you're done analyzing, when you're done grouping and aggregations, you can now apply conditional formatting to enhance your findings. Do you get? Now, sorting and conditional formatting are not the same thing. Sorting and conditional formatting are not the same thing. We are using conditional formatting to highlight from the group. We want to highlight, we want to see what is going on in our group of data. Do you understand? In this case, I told you guys the company is suffering from bankruptcy due to people like where is she? Elizabeth, due to people like Alice. Okay, Alice is not bad. Due to people like Edith Young, due to people like Charlie. Why? They are collecting huge amounts of money and they are giving us a 1 out of 10, a 2 out of 10. And that kind of business is not sustainable and it's going to catch up. So it has caught up with us. Now we said, okay, fine. I'm going to undo this again. I'm going to do it again for the sake of people that did not catch it. Now, we said we want to find out the people that are earning 50,000 and above. We want to slash their salary to 50 because that's the salary cap we want to have in the company. We don't want to go above 50K. We don't want to pay above 50K. So we want to format the people that are earning 50K and above. So how do I do that? We highlighted everything. We'll come to home. We'll come to conditional formatting. We click on highlight cell rules. I'll click on greater than, right? Click on greater than, and automatically it's going to give you the midpoint, right? But we want to take it down to 50K. So I'll go 50K and I'll click OK. And automatically we've highlighted people that are earning 50K. Do you guys understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, I understand now, sir.
Now you can go a step further, right? You can go a step further. You can come to your sort and filter, right? And you can say sort by color, right? If I click sort by color and I click on this color, see what's going to happen. What do you guys notice?
All those that were earning 50K and above were grouped together.
We're grouped. Can you see? Again, if I Control Z, let's go back, and I come here and I say filter by color, and I click on this. Can you see? Now it has filtered out people that are earning 50K and above. So can you see how they work hand in hand? Both the sort and filter and the conditional formatting.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's play again with some other rules. Let's play again with some other rules. Now let's assume things are going good, right? Things are going great. We want to increase the salary of people that are earning less than $40,000, right? We want to increase the salary of people that are earning less than $40,000. So we want to highlight them, right? We want to know those people that are earning less than 40K because we want to increase their salary, at least to meet up with the likes of Diana's and the Alice's of this world. So what do I do again? I'm going to highlight everything. I'll come to salary. I'll come to home. I'll come to conditional formatting. I'm going to highlight cell rules. I'll come to less than, right? Less than. What do I put here? I'm going to put 40,000. I'm going to put 40,000. You can change the format a bit. Let's change it to green, right? Let's change it to green. And I'll click OK. So can you see? We have seen that Faith, Patience, Cheta, Beverly, and Chidima, these are the 5 people that are being severely underpaid by the company and they need a raise. Again, I can come here and I can say filter by color. I'll click on any of this, right? Then I can say raise. I can come here, I can say raise, right? I can say raise. I'll drag this down and I can clear the filter. So can you see how it works? So questions. Easy. Ugochukwu. Okay, person is not saying anything. If it's way Chiamaka, do you have a question?
No, sir.
Okay, so lower your hand down. Jameen Gifts. Question.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? This is Ogochukwu.
Okay. Yeah, we can now. Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I was trying to click the.
You have a
it was not-
question.
Oh, so my question is, yes, sir. So, are we supposed to just watch you do the whole thing and then we'll try out after the class, or are we supposed to be doing the same thing as you're doing?
Due to the number of persons here, today there are about 117, and I know it's going to increase and reduce as we go by. There won't be time to wait for
Hello?
117 persons to type on their end. Do you understand? That's why the classes are being recorded. You will get an understanding of how it works on your free time. You can try it out. If you have questions, you can message me in the group and I'll attend to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So that's it. That's it. So Christabel.
Okay.
Christabel. Question.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Are there specific times or specific situations we use? Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
can. Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
Hello, can
Yeah,
you?
I can.
Okay. So are there specific situations we use data bars, the icons, and the color scale? Like, are there specific situations during the trend that we use them, or we use it anytime we want to? Are there any rules guiding this conditional formatting?
As regards the kind
I
of
don't know if you get my
formatting you would want to
question.
use,
As
they are
regards the kind of
not,
formatting you want to use,
they are not really rules. It all depends on your two things. Number one, how much or how efficient the conditional formatting technique you want to use. How efficient is it at telling the story you're trying to portray, and personal preference, right? So if you feel the data bar will work better for you, go ahead. If you feel the color scale will work for you, go ahead. If you feel the icons will work for you, go ahead. At the end of the day, pick what is best to represent what you're trying to do. Do you understand? There are no specific rules. I prefer data bars. They tell the story better for me. Oh, not data bars, color scales. All right. Yeah,
Okay,
the
sir.
person.
Thank you.
Yeah, Adobe. Can you use? What do you mean by notebook? Is it like a sheet of paper, like a book, or what? What do you mean by notebook? Adobe in the group in the chat. Okay, notebook laptop. Is it Windows? Is it Windows? Okay, just chat me up. Chat me up on Telegram. I will attend to you better so that I don't take use of the time we have to round up this. So let me take two more questions, then we'll walk. It's already the 1 hour is already eclipsed, but please, I think I might borrow 20 minutes if that's okay with you guys. So I think I've attended to Christabel. So the next person is Adedayo. Do you have a question?
Yes, please. Please, I wanted to ask if you could give us
Yeah.
data sets that we could work with personally. Because the link that was dropped was just like having tutorials or something. I don't know if we could have data sets available to us.
This data sets should be there, right? This data set should be there. If I'm not
In
mistaken.
the
Let me confirm.
YouTube
Yeah, I will
videos.
send the link. So sorry. I think the links I sent were just the video links. I thought the slide was among the
Yes,
ones I
yes.
sent. I just noticed
All
when I
right.
saw your message. I've been very busy. So I will send the links to you. Please don't be angry, everybody. I'm sorry about that.
All right. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So thank God we've got some clarity on that. You can check maybe after the class if we get it. So let me take one more question that we'll go ahead. I wanted to cover three things today. I was able to do one. I don't know how we'll go going forward so that we can pick up the pace, so that we can be able to work on a mini project by the end of this first month in Excel. So Duru, Deborah, Chisom. Is she here? Deborah. Okay. Elizabeth. I did
Yes,
say.
good evening. Yes, it's
So
me.
who is talking?
Please,
Who
I
is
have
talking? Is it Deborah or Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
Hello,
Elizabeth,
sir.
please.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
So,
Hold on. Elizabeth.
okay, thank you. So, I wanted to ask if it is possible to have two columns, um, like using conditional formatting for two columns at the same time. In the case, for example, you you did conditional formatting for people who earn above $50,000. But this could affect somebody whose performance is okay. For example, I think John is paid 60,000 and is on a 10 performance level. So what do we do? Like, I just feel like, okay, is there a way we can filter for people who are doing very well, paid above 50,000? Is there a way to condition them out of that filtering or what? I don't know if that's possible.
Yes and no, right? Yes and no. But in situations like this, we can come up with like a ranking system, right? That assigns an index based on number one, the salary and the job performance, right? To then we can create a column as to rank them. So from 0 to 10, we assign a rank based on how much the person earns and how much of a performance the person does, right? I feel that would be a much better way. That would be a much better way to get a better analysis on what you're trying to do. Again, that's a little bit more advanced than what I wanted to do today, but we'll come to that as we go forward. Right.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, so let's play around with some more examples when it comes to conditional formatting. Let's play around with some rules, some more rules here. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. For example, if I come here, also remember it doesn't have to be numbers. It doesn't have to be numbers, right? You can do conditional formatting for dates. You can do for text, right? I click on text, I come to conditional formatting. The rules will be different, right? You can use, okay, they're more or less the same, but you can use text, right? So if I want to look for Charlie, I can come here and I can type Charlie. Okay, the Charlie here, there's no arrow there. You can see once I type it, it's highlighting it for me already. So it all depends on what you want to do. But let's play around with some rules. So let me highlight this. Let me come to home. Let's see what we can play around with. So we've done greater than, we've done less than. Now between, again, as the name entails, between a start point and an end point. Right? It's very straightforward. We have equal to, again, straightforward. If I say I want to highlight salary equal to 60,000, 60,000, you can see automatically it has highlighted it. So all of these things are self-explanatory. All of these are self-explanatory. And but I want to play around with this top bottom rules, right? So we have the top 10, we have the bottom 10, top 10%, we have the bottom 10 items, we have the bottom 10%. We have the above average and the below average. Now I'm going to play with the top 10 items, the top 10 items, the top 10%, and the above average. Again, it's just the opposite of bottom 10 items, bottom 10%, and below average. Now, because of, I want to identify the top 5. Okay, let me come back here. I want to identify the top 5. I want to identify the top 5 highest performers in the company. But what do I do? I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to come to top bottom rules. I'll go to top 10. I'll go to top 10. I'm going to reduce it from 10 here. I'm going to reduce it to 5. Right? I'm going to click OK. I'm going to change this to green because higher performance means growth is good. So what do? I'm going to use the green to better communicate what I'm trying to do. And I'll click OK. And you can see that these are the top 5 performers in the company. We have John, we have Patience, we have Faith, we have Esther, and we have Diana. Can you see? These are the top 5. Yes, you can write your own rules. There's something called the custom rule or new rule. If you click on new rule, you can put in whatever you want here. It's very customizable. Right? You can put it here. You can select the kind of color you want as well. Do you get? You can use the formula. You can use the formula to ascertain the rules. But we'll come back to this, but that will be from the next class where we've understood what formulas are, and we can use set formulas to use as rules for conditional formatting. Now, that's where some complex things, some complex work come in, right? You can then bend it to however you want it. So you can see here, we're able to highlight the top 5. If I want to, again, I said, okay, fine. Again, still on the salary issues, the salary we pay out is way too much. I want to highlight people that are in the top 10 percentile, right? Or in the 90th percentile of earners in the company. We want to slash them, we want to let them go because we can no longer keep up with them. So what do? I can highlight this. I'll come to home, I'll come to conditional formatting, and I will say top 10%. Right? So there's only one person here who is in the 90th percentile of salary earners in the company, and that's Charlie. So you can see automatically we've highlighted him as one of the persons. Okay, we'll say, okay, fine. Let's push it down to like, let's say 70%, right? Let's say 70th percentile. So in this case, I'm going to use top 10. Instead of top 10, I'm going to use 30%, right? And I'll click OK. So these people that we see here, those are in the 70th percentile or in the top 30% of earners in the company. So we have John, we have Diana, we have Alice, and we have Charlie. These 4 people are earning higher than every other person. So this conditional formatting is really malleable. You can bend it to what you want, however you want, right? By the end of the day, we want to use it to highlight some certain things we're looking for. It could be trends and patterns. It could be just plain highlights based on a specific criteria. In this case here, people that are in the 70th percentile and above of salary earners and the top 5 highest performers. I can come here, I can say, okay, fine. Again, sort by or filter by color. And I will say bonus $100, right? For being the top 5, $100. And I can drag this down. And I will get rid of my filter here. And you can see they are slowly building up, right? So we'll send the people that deserves a bonus. We'll send the people that deserve a raise and all of that based on conditional formatting. Questions? Okay, Esther.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. We can hear you. We can hear you. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if she can hear me. Can you guys hear
Can you
me?
hear me, please?
Yeah, we can. Okay, please refresh your network and you can come back in. Blessing, your question.
Okay, please,
Bless.
sir.
Yeah.
How do I apply conditional formatting like to an entire row based on the value of a specific cell? Like, unlike this data, I think we are having $55. Like I want to do a conditional formatting based on that value. Like how will I do it?
Where did you say $55?
At the third sale.
$55,000.
Yes, 55. Oh, sorry, sir, $55,000.
Okay. And you want to do what exactly?
I want to do a conditional formatting based on this specific value.
What is the condition?
Oh, so it has to come with conditions, sir.
Yeah, we're not just throwing colors out there. There's a condition that comes with the colors or the formatting we are doing. Here, our condition was people in the 70th percentile. We want to highlight them. Here, these are the top five and top five performers in the company. We want to highlight them. So, what is the condition for this $55,000 you want to do? What is the condition?
Okay, I'm just getting to understand, sir. I'll figure out the condition.
All right, you're welcome. Okay. Blessing, are you the person that just? Are you the person that just? Okay, Esther Paul.
Okay, sir, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, I want to ask regarding this conditional formatting. Can it work with a huge data set? Like, in the sense that is there a possibility whereby when you input a conditional formatting in a huge data set, will the
Yeah.
conditional formatting be able to like bring out let's say each data regarding on the function, or let's say you want to check the percentile in a huge data set on a single row and the data is large, how will you be able to see all the conditional formats that that the Excel, or should I say the data brings out? I don't know if you get my question.
Somebody has asked something similar to this before. I said you don't like imagine this data set has, let me see. This data set has 119,391 rows. You wouldn't want to put a conditional formatting in 100 and something thousand rows. How would you see what you're formatting? I can do it, right? And come here and say home and say conditional formatting top, not top. I can go top, top. Let's go top 10%, right? I'll click this. Let's go green or yellow. It doesn't really matter, right? Unless, right? Unless I want to filter out people or the rows that are in the top 10% of revenue, there's no point doing this, right? There's no point doing this. I can come here and I will say, okay, filter by color, and I'll click on this. Now, out of the 100 and something thousand rows, we are going to filter out um, the rows in the top 10%. It's taking a bit of time, but it should do it in a couple of seconds or probably a minute, depending on how much resource I have on my system. So when you're working with thousands or hundreds of thousands of rows, you cannot see any trends or patterns when you're using conditional formatting. Again, I told you I mainly use it, most people mainly use it when they are analyzing, right? Because whenever you're performing an analysis, most cases you aggregate
We can't hear you, sir.
your data.
So we can't hear you. I don't know if I'm the only one.
He's having a network glitch.
Right? You aggregate your data, you've already shrunk them and you've grouped them into different categories, right? So you're just checking for trends and patterns in these groupings. And my Excel is frozen. You shouldn't be using conditional. You guys,
We can now hear you now. We can hear you now.
all right. So, like I was saying, you shouldn't be using conditional formatting in hundreds of thousands of rows, right? You need it when you analyze it. That's when it comes in handy. When you're analyzing, you just want to check for trends and patterns. Maybe, for example, on a pivot table, you are not planning on visualizing, right? Because these things are like substitutes in a way to the visualizations, right? So you don't work with it in the sole purpose of looking for trends when you're working with a large data set. All right, so while my Excel is still loading, it's frozen because of what I just did. Let me take some more questions. So Tolu Lope Akinola, your question.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask concerning the conditional formatting. So there are
Yes.
different options. You could use the color scale, the data bar, the icons, whatever we prefer.
Yes.
But I want to ask if
Yes.
there is a situation where you need to use more than one of those options for the same data set. Are there times when you have to probably combine those features, those different options, maybe 2 or 3 of them, to
On
analyze
the
the
same
same
column.
thing?
On the same column.
Yes. Yes. Probably you are using the color
Not to
scale
the
together with the icons.
no, because they are all telling the
All
same
right.
thing, right? This is
All right.
look at the color scale
Okay.
here. If I decide to put the data bars, it's still the same story it's telling, right? I still
All
highlight
right.
everything here, and I decide to put the, let's say, the icons, right? Still the same thing it's telling us, right? So one is sufficient
All
enough.
right. Thank you.
Just choose the right one. Are we together? Are we together? That thing I did has crashed myself. So do you have any other questions? This thing is slowing down. Okay, Beatrice. Let
Good
me see if I can
evening,
close this.
sir. Good evening, everybody. I hope we can all hear me.
Good evening. Yeah, we
Please,
can.
unrelated to this particular class, but regarding to a particular comment you dropped when someone asked for the system requirements for a data analyst. Please, I want to quickly ask two
Yeah.
questions from the comment. The first thing that I saw there that struck me was you said you have a MacBook, please sell it off and get yourself a Windows. And then secondly, you said we should totally avoid our hard disk and go for SSD card. Please, I need
Yes.
explanation because I'm using MacBook and I'm struggling with it a whole lot to get some things done. Probably I don't know how to use it, or probably I don't. In fact, maybe I don't know how to use it for analysis per se. And then secondly, I don't have any SSD card in the system, so I was somehow confused. I said I will ask the question. Let me just use the opportunity to ask the question. Thank you, sir.
What model of Mac are you using?
I'm using a MacBook Air, the small one.
Which year?
I don't actually know the year. It's not my system. My husband's system I borrowed. But it's a 4 GB RAM. But I can quickly
Most
check the system. Okay.
Yeah, most Macs come with SSDs, right? That's why they're expensive. Most Macs, I think from like
Okay.
2014 and above, both the Air and the Pros, they come with SSDs. Now, as regarding you having issues with the analysis aspect of it, again, I told you guys, just to avoid the stress, if you can let go of the Mac and can get the Windows PC, good. because the issues you're facing now in Excel, even if there's a way around it, which is kind of technical for especially ladies that are new to the field or new to being tech savvy, is going to be a problem. Now, when we get to Power BI, it's going to be worse. When we get to Power BI, I think there's literally no way without paying to use Power BI on your Mac, unless you want to use the web version of it, which is just bad. You understand? Then if you manage to overcome that, when you get to SQL again, I'm guessing we'll be using, I don't know, my co-facilitator, Mr. Efe, are you here with us? Please, what's RDBMS I plan on using to teach them?
We'll be working on MySQL.
Okay, MySQL. Okay, MySQL, then you guys might not have problems. But if you was going with, say, SQL Server again, we're going to have another problem. You have to use Visual Studio and some other ways. But to avoid the stress, if you can get a good Windows laptop, just go for it. Yeah, I dropped the specifications on the group. Check the announcement page. It's there. If you want to go out and get, you can just go with those specs and make sure they don't cheat you sharp, because people eyes get us to be. So Vivian,
I actually have I have my sorry, can I continue with the question, please? Because I'm struggling with some things here.
okay, how about if it's not regarding,
Can I proceed with the
if it's not regarding the class, just drop it in the group. I'll attend to you, or send me a message.
Okay,
Right.
no problems. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So Priscilla. Yeah, Priscilla, question.
Okay, my question is, that Excel sheets you showed previously where you had like over 100 and something thousand data in it, is there an easier way to fill the Excel sheet else, or you have to do it individually, filling each cell with data? Because that is a lot of data to fill in. That's just my question.
Okay. So in most cases, right? In most cases, at least in the Western world, good companies have databases that collect data on a daily basis. Then when there's a need for analysis, you can go and pull out, right? You get your data. If you want to get the data through a survey, you can use Google Forms, push out the survey, it's going to accumulate it. Then you can look for a way to convert it into Excel. So as a data analyst, you're not going to sit down and type 100,000 rows across like 20 columns of data, right? That's not your job. In most cases, not all, but most cases, there's a way of getting the data, no matter how big it is, in bulk. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right. Then final blessing. I'm guessing that's the last question for today.
So during the last class, you said you are going to drop the note for us. Sorry, this is out of the class discussion. So I've not gotten the note. My
Check the
note
link.
is
Yeah, it's there. Check the
okay.
link. The
All right,
last
thank you
link,
very much.
yeah, is there. Just the notes, not just the notes, the links, the link to the all the resources going forward as well. So yes, the person asking Jermaine, you asked the statistics and all of that. Yes. Although me, I studied statistics in university, so I have kind of like an edge. But all you need for data analysis is basic statistics. You don't need to be a statistician like a guru in statistics to work with data analysis. Same with, you just need basic arithmetic, basic statistics, but you need to understand and have a good background, right, in statistics. Jermaine, that's how you pronounce your name, right? That's why I dropped a link in the group. If you go through that link from now to Friday, if you dedicate 1 hour every day, you should have a solid background in statistics for data analysis in a week if you actually put in the effort. Jermaine, do you understand? So you don't really have to be like, you don't have to have a PhD in statistics, or you don't have to be like really good in statistics. But once you understand the key fundamentals, just like you're working with Excel for data analysis, you can work with statistics for data analysis. You won't have a problem. But then again, it is needed. It is needed. So questions, any other questions? Because I think we'll have to call it a day. if there's no question left. I really wanted to cover things like I wanted to go into um, um, introduction to functions today. I wanted to go into what's it called? Oh God, it skipped my mind. But there are three things I wanted to discuss with you guys today. But unfortunately, time couldn't permit. But please, I want you guys to be up to speed up until this point because we're going to start writing formulas. Yes, cell referencing. Thank you very much. I just had a brain fart there. I couldn't remember. Cell referencing, the different types of cell referencing. I will do that so that when we go into functions, you will not realize that when you're writing a function in Excel, when you're writing a formula, you call a function, you write a formula. Functions and formulas, when you're working with them, there are three major things that they work with. Number one, we have the operators for formulas, right? For functions, we have the function name used to call the function. Number two, we have the cell reference and our arguments. So these are very, very important things you need to understand before we start writing formulas. So you guys should get prepared. From on Wednesday, we're going more technical. So in that light, I want to appreciate you guys again. I know Sunday is the time you guys need to rest to recharge for the week, and you guys took out time to attend to this class. So please just keep it going. All right. Try and encourage yourself, even though it's difficult, and just try and push from now till the ending of November, and you will thank yourself you did. So in that case, I'm calling it a day, right? But if you've not filled the attendance, because once I end this call, that link is gone. Who here hasn't filled out the attendance? Who else hasn't filled the attendance? Okay, Ogechi, let's answer some questions why people try to fill the attendance. Because once I end this call, that's it. So by 7:30, I'm ending the call. Let's give them a few minutes. Please, if you haven't filled the attendance, go and fill it now because it's going to count towards the assessment. Kate Frank, you have a question? And she's gone. Okay, peace, Jegede. Question. Peace. Okay. Beatrice Williams, do you have a question?
Sorry, sir. If you have the
I have a question. The question is, hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello, sir.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, my question is with respect to the class slide. You didn't give permission for
Okay.
download. There's no permission for download, so I can download it to my system. I must be online to read up the notes.
There should be a link. Did I not?
I've shared the link. So please, I think Daniel, you have to enable access to anyone with the link. Check your setting. Then
I thought I already did that. But let me confirm. Okay, let's see.
You can access, you can download the work.
I can access it from here.
Anyone with a link can be
Yes, you
an
can.
editor. So you can download it. So you should be able to download it. It's there as an editor. I mean, you can download, but nobody should duplicate. Nobody should delete. Please.
please don't enable them to edit the file. Just put anyone with the link. So what they will do is just to make a copy of it. When they make a
Yeah,
copy
but
of it, they can edit it.
okay.
So there
Okay.
is an option for just anyone with the link. Then you control if they should just read only or edit. So let them just read only. Then they can make a copy of it. So someone don't get to edit it mistakenly.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. I've just done that now.
Okay.
So the last question for today, Ogechi. the last question.
Okay, sir. Good evening. Please, it's not a question. I'm actually unable to fill the attendance. I can't find the link.
Okay.
Hello?
Please, admin. She said she can't find it. Can you post it one last time before I end the call? For her to copy it out. Admin. Okay, let me